Okay, all clear. I don't see anyone. Man, one bad move. This is too tense. What? What? Gotta get out of here.
Ah, how was I supposed to see him before he could see me? For fuck!
I'm gonna go full controversial here. The original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater was rough. And I mean rough. To the point that I felt was unfair and unplayable at certain points. Definitely worse than I remember. At times, I felt it was not a good game, even though this opinion will change 5 minutes after each time I felt this way. Because the game is good like a diamond, and rough as one can be. So, elation and jubilation, gamers from all around the world. I am Lucian, and this is the World Gamer Show. And today, I'm here to tell you that Snake Eater, the original one, on PlayStation 2, is way more frustrating than you remember. Metal Gear Solid 3 is a classic. One could argue it's a masterpiece, and I'm not here to tell you otherwise. Just not the original version on PS2. MGS3 was in fact first released in 2004 on PlayStation 2, strong of the success of the two previous games, MGS1 on PS1 and MGS2 on PS2. But MGS3 on still on PS2, was again a rough gem. It had the best ideas in the series, like swapping the typical futuristic complex location for a more natural jungle environment, still filled with buildings, but it had an overall unpredictability that felt really new and fresh to the series. Part of this is due to the fact that the game this time takes place in the 1960s. This meant multiple things, but most importantly, all those futuristic gadgets, like the Soliton radar, yeah, they must go. In their place, there are multiple movement sensors that can and should help you locate the enemies. Moreover, jungle means much more open environments. Mostly gone are the long corridors with predictable enemy placement. Enter camouflaged enemies that can see you from miles, while you can't see them.
Who's that?
No! God, please, no! No! While the previous two MGS had a bird-eye view camera, which you couldn't control, those games also had mostly closed environments, and even in more open-ended places like the heliport, you could still count on your Soliton radar, but as I said, that's gone now, while the fixed bird-eye view camera still stayed. And man, this did not transition well at all in the first iteration of MGS3.
What?
Fixed bird-eye view camera means enemies out of your view field can see you, while of course you can't see them.
Huh? Who was that?
What the heck? Now, Kojima is not stupid. He knew that, so he tried his best to give you a small bit of control over the camera compared to the previous entries. In fact, you can slightly tilt the view around with the right analog stick. Is it enough? The hell no, it isn't. It helps a little bit, but that's definitely not enough in most situations.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Now, later on the game, you will get to more closed spaces, but with the Soliton radar out of the game, the situation is still not ideal. But at least there are more walls to lean to, so you can still have the camera move behind the wall the old-fashioned way. But in the jungle, this is much less intuitive. And too bad that those closed spaces come much later into the game, while you will spend the majority of the first hours immersed in this beautiful jungle with tons of trees obstructing your view. And let's use this as an example indeed. It's the first hour of the game. Let's go rescue Sokolov. Easier said than done. Again, this is the beginning of the game. Players need to get comfortable first. So let's put some quicksands with fucking crocodiles. But the worst part is that straight after that, the real trial by fire. If you get past this and get to Sokolov, then you can start playing the game for real. And good luck with that.
I can't say it feels good, but it's my job.
Again, the problem is that damn camera. It is so limited and limiting. It literally limits my possibilities to see more than 10 feet ahead.
Huh? Are those footsteps?
No. No! What's left is either try and tilt the camera with the right stick or go first-person view. But the latter means I have to choose between seeing what's in front of me or move around to not get seen. And these guards are no joke. I don't think I am bad at MGS. I mean, I am clearly capable of aligning some decent headshots from afar with my tranquilizer gun. I would just like to see what's ahead of me without having to suffer nauseating camera movements or having to choose between standing still in first person and moving my ass out of enemy's view. Like, what the fuck, really? How am I supposed to see him? Because of course he could spot me from a mile away.
And you call yourself an agent?
This camera is suited for closed spaces, not a fucking jungle, or any open area for that matter. Look, I'm sorry I'm bitching so much about the camera, but I just find ironic how the game asks the player to change and adapt to the environments while the game completely fails to do so.
I don't approve of your methods.
Indeed, I feel that most of what went wrong with the first iteration of MGS3 boils down to one thing: the camera, that failed to change and adapt to the new game setting. Once again, Kojima knew this. Knew the right analog's camera was not enough. So for the inevitable re-release of the game, sort of the Game of the Year edition, in a time when this was not that common, Kojima would add a literal game changer. The video will resume straight after a short commercial break.
They've stolen the ultimate weapon and brought the world to the brink of destruction. Now, one man is all that stands in their way. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, rated M for mature. Peace by any means necessary, from Konami.
Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence released again on PS2 in 2005 and will add a ton of new features to the base game. First, the game included the two original Metal Gear games for the MSX, completely translated into English, and other languages for the European version, including French, German, Italian and Spanish, just like the main game. What is a great example of gameception, when a game includes another full game for double the fun, or triple in this case. I've already talked about other gameception examples in another video, so feel free to check it out through the link in the description. Anyway, another feature was that you could finally play MGS online on a PS2. I mean, it was still online before the Xbox 360 and PS3, so good luck with that. But that's long gone now anyway, so that hardly matters really. What matters is the biggest literal game changer of the game, the brand new camera system, fully 3D, fully controllable. And yes, this is what MGS3 should have been from the beginning.
Exactly.
As you start the game, you immediately notice something different. Everything seems the same, but the camera is a little bit closer to your character than usual. But then, when you move the right stick, something magical happens. The camera rotates around the character 360 degrees, allowing you to have a full understanding of your surroundings, which, you know, it's good in any game, let alone in a stealth game. Wow! This made the game feel like new, and much, much better. Again, sorry to repeat myself, but this is how the camera should have worked right from the start. Now you can say the camera adapted itself to the new environment. And that's not to say that the original camera had rare, really rare instances of actually being useful. That's why you can toggle between the two types by pressing the R3 button. That's great. It's great that you don't need to go through a menu in the options to do that, or worse, that you need to set it all at the beginning of the game without being able to change it. This is how it's done. Just look at how different, much more natural feels to control Snake now. Guards that felt supernatural, almost ghost-like in their presence, now feel much more manageable. I don't need to struggle between weird view modes like before, with the first person or the camera tilt. So much better.
Don't you agree?
And this is how I feel everybody remembers the game. This is the game that set the standards for the whole Metal Gear saga. Metal Gear Solid 4, Peace Walker, The Phantom Pain all use this camera system that was first introduced in MGS3. But make no mistake, it's the Subsistence version that you remember, not the original Snake Eater. But then, why the confusion? Well, I feel that this is mostly due to the fact that the subsequent re-releases of MGS3 will ditch the Substance title and reverted back to Snake Eater, even though they mostly kept many of the new features that will be introduced in Subsistence. Case in point, the 3DS version released in 2012 is called Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D, but still got the 360 camera movement of the Subsistence version, and moreover, it actually finally allowed the Snake to move while crouching, which is a godsend and automatically makes it the definitive version, at least control-wise, until the Delta remake comes out. And yeah, I wish this was included in Subsistence, but whatever, it is only in this 3DS version because it came after MGS4, which was the first game to feature crouch walk anyway, so I can't complain. But surely this makes me realize even more that MGS3 truly deserves a remake. So let there be Delta. But I think that the version of MGS3 most people remember is the HD version included in the Metal Gear Solid HD Collection, which included the Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty HD Edition, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater HD Edition, and finally Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker HD Edition. Yeah, so both MGS2 and 3 kept their original subtitles, but in case of MGS2 it's the Substance version, and in the case of MGS3 it's the Subsistence version, which means MGS3 has kept its original name, but the new camera system is also in place. See what I mean? All subsequent versions after the Subsistence re-release reverted back to the original Snake Eater name, but still kept the new improved camera system. That's why everybody remembers Snake Eater to have this 3D camera, and forgot what a real pain was to traverse the jungle with that fixed bird's eye view. People got so used to being able to crouch walk and fully control the camera in the following games that they seriously think these features also applied retroactively to the original Snake Eater, which is clearly not the case. It all actually started with Subsistence, even though it seems to me it doesn't get enough love or credit for that. Is it fair to Subsistence? Not really. So when you play the HD version of Snake Eater, either on the HD Collection or the Master Collection, just know that you're actually playing MGS3 Subsistence, because this is the version that brought this much improved camera system, and not the first edition of Snake Eater on PS2.
Don't you forget it.
And even though many don't seem to acknowledge the essential place that Subsistence has in the Metal Gear history, I think we all should. And I still hail Subsistence to this very day, just as I did in 2005, before any of the modern HD versions, as the one true savior of the Metal Gear Solid 3 experience. Actually, let me correct myself. Considering how the series would adopt the same camera system first seen in Subsistence, you could argue that Subsistence didn't just save MGS3, but saved the whole series and brought it to the modern era of gaming.
But they won't know.
But that's just one guy's opinion on the internet, and now I want to know yours down in the comments. Did you play MGS3 back in the day? Which version did you play? What do you think of the original bird eye view camera? Was it that bad? Share your thoughts and memories in the comment section down below. And if you love Metal Gear as much as I do, and if you've reached this part into the video, I have every reason to believe so, may I tempt you in looking at the rest of my coverage for the Metal Gear saga, including a whole video explaining the origins of the Metal Gear Solid name and the delta in the title for MGS3 Remake. And why not take a look at Covered Critter, the awesome crazy tribute to the original MGS? And if you enjoyed this video and want to help a small channel grow, feel free to leave a like, subscribe and share the video around. It really does help me a ton in bringing you the best quality content, including reviews, indie and retro videos, and even interviews with big gaming personalities. But no pressure guys, I just want to thank you so much for spending some of your precious time watching this video to the end. I will be seeing you in my next one, but until then, stay safe, play safe world gamers.